By day, YouTuber. By night, security officer. Good morning, Wolfpack. Tisai, the Spanish Jaguar. Welcome back to Monthly Favorites, where I talk about all the stuff I've been watching, playing, and listening to. So without further ado, let's get back into the month of May. Podcasts. One podcast I've been listening to is Shane Dawson's podcast, actually, Shane and Friends. He recently relaunched it with full screen. And this way it's just so that he can pump out more episodes and even release video versions of them. He also has cool guests on all the time, so if you're a fan of the guy, then you should definitely be taking a listen to it. The other podcast I wanted to recommend is actually my favorite podcast of all time. It is called If I Were You, and it's hosted by Jay Krowitz and Amir Blumenfeld. If you don't know them, they produced the Jake and Amir web series, which was on the College Humor channel, and it's honestly one of my favorite web series up to date. But I digress. They run an advice podcast. Their fans email them seeking guidance. They have guests on from time to time, and they're just honestly just some hilarious dudes. It's highly recommended. Music. YouTube. I recently started watching the channel Did You Know Gaming. The premise is basically every video they just choose a video game to talk about fun facts about, whether it's stuff that you didn't know about the video game, whether it's stuff like where the idea from the video game come from, or what was cut out initially from the video game, and etc, etc. There are so many videos up on that channel that they have most likely talked about your top favorite video games, so definitely check it out. Check it out. The other channel I want to talk about is actually the reason why I started making videos 7 years ago. The first channel that I ever subscribed to, and the first channel I ever started watching before I even knew what being a YouTuber was, or I knew it was an actual thing. Alright, enough of the suspense. I'm talking about Rich Alvarez, the man behind the web series Stupid Mario Brothers. And I'm sure that's not a surprise to many of you. When I was back in my Super Mario plushie days, it's pretty clear that my influence came from Rich Alvarez. But here's the thing, the Rich Alvarez channel is not as popular as it should be. Richie and his crew influenced many people, including myself. Now, I said this in my 7-year anniversary video, but I am currently writing a new web series. And this one is actually going to be a live action one. I'm going to have actual actors and production crew, etc. And this won't be happening right away, alright? It's going to take years before I can actually get to where I need to before we go into production. But when it does finally happen, I'm going to be tributing to it Richie. Think of it kind of like as a thank you for putting me on this path. But yes, Stupid Mario Bros. Is a great series, and I'm excited for Season 2 of Stupid Mario World. Which actually the first episode's up right now, but I have to film this, after. I will definitely be watching it. Video games. And I kind of took a break from Paper Jam just because I wasn't having fun and it's not a good game, so, but I do get back into it in June, so I'll talk about it then. But I did get back into Mario Kart 8. Now, I'm a bit of a completionist, so in every Mario Kart game I've ever played, I had to have gotten first place trophies in every single Grand Prix. I just have to. It's just, my mind won't let me not do that. But for Mario Kart 8, it's taken way too long to accomplish this. Simply because they threw a monkey wrench at me with including 200cc in the DLC. Now, if I actually played this game day in and day out, I would have gotten all the gold a long time ago, but I just don't have the patience for this. And to top it all off, after I 100% completed it, nothing. No congratulations, no acknowledgement, no nothing. The assholes behind Mario Kart 8, man. Although it is my second favorite Mario Kart game. Double Dash will always be my number one. And the only other game I really played in May was Candy Crush. Now I know it's just an app, so it's not technically a video game, but it's been up a lot of my time, which is something I don't like to admit. Some backstory for you, I actually stopped a while back on Candy Crush just because I couldn't get past level 140. It was too demanding of me, and I just didn't want to play it anymore. But recently I went back to it and actually beat the level. And when I beat it, I just immediately picked up where I left off and just kept going, kept playing it. Movies. Now, I like the speed round thing that I did last month, so I'm going to be doing it again because I did watch a buttload of movies. So, starting now. Keanu is Key and Peele's first big movie, and although it was very funny, I think I had my expectations way a bit too high on it. Captain America Civil War is one of the best Marvel movies up to date, and it just goes to show that it did what everything Don just tried to do, but they just completely flopped. Speaking of DC, Batman Red Hood is an animated DC movie, and it just goes to show that DC does great with animation, but when it comes to live action, they've not proven themselves so far. Infinity Polar Bear is a movie starring Mark Ruffalo and Zoe Saldana, and Ruffalo's performance is just completely top-notch. He's 100% every single second. You wouldn't guess that he's not actually bipolar. A Million Ways to Die in the West is a Seth MacFarlane movie, and, you know, a lot of people give it hate, but I still kind of like that. But I do prefer Ted. If I Stay is a romantic drama for teens, starring Chloe Moretz, and, you know, I did weep at points. I did weep, so, you know, I liked it. It did what it set out to do. Dead Poets Society is a classic Robin Williams movie, and it was just so good. It was just so good. There were like no words. I really don't know how even to describe it. It started off slow, but it really picked up, and I really enjoyed it after it ended. Departed is an all-star cast starring Leo DiCaprio, Martin Sheen, and one of Jack Nicholson's last movies. And it was just so great. Everyone killed it. And you know, I never noticed that Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg look so much alike. Batman Year One is another animated DC movie, and it's in the main character is Commissioner Gordon, and voiced by Bryan Cranston. It's really good, but you know, I did prefer Red Hood. Knocked Up is a Seth Rogen movie, and it's a classic one, and you know, it's very funny to see his character having to deal with the fact that he got a girl pregnant. The Circle is a horror movie on Netflix, and basically the premise is that there are 50 people trapped in a circle, and someone has to die every 60 seconds. And you know, it was just leading up. It was leading up to be something cool, but the end product we actually got was just confusing and disappointing. Neighbors 2 is another Seth Rogen movie, and you know, it's not as memorable as the first one, but I did like that Chloe Moretz was in it as a comedic role because, you know, she's mostly in, you know, dramas and action. The Nice Guys was a movie starring Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, a buddy cop movie. They were so great in it, but the problem was that it did not do so good in the box office, which is bad because that just goes to show that people only really want sequels to stuff that's familiar to them, or like stuff that's adapted from novels and comic books. Speaking of which, X-Men Apocalypse is a good comic book movie, and Oscar Isaac did great as Apocalypse, but the thing was that they made Apocalypse so huge, basically created God, that they had to like shove in some way to defeat him, and just by using Jean Grey as Phoenix, or whatever that form is called. The Angry Birds movie finally came to us, and you know, it came to us a little bit too late. I did enjoy the adult jokes that were in it, and finally Groundhog's Day is a classic Bill Murray movie. Netflix was about to get rid of it, so I finally had to sit down and watch it, and you know, I'm glad I did. I really enjoyed it. It was great to see his character go from sarcastic asshole to nice, kind, passionate person. And just so you know, there's no method to my madness. I just watch whatever I feel like, so that's why it's such a miscellaneous list. There's like no such category in it. None. TV shows. So I binged Family Guy in its entirety. Well, not season 14 because it's not on Netflix yet. But I did watch the first 13. It was so great to watch, just sit down and watch the show from beginning to end because it has had such a huge impact on pop culture. And you know, usually after you finish the series, you kind of feel like this void in your, like something missing. It's like, oh, what am I supposed to do with my life now? But I didn't have it this time just because I know, you know, the show's not over yet. There's still plenty of more to come from it. And I also watched another animated series this month actually, and this one is actually my favorite animated series of all time. And that is Avatar: The Last Airbender. I bought all 3 seasons recently, and I just started watching it right away. I love it. To be honest, I want to binge it again, but there's so much shows that I have to go through first, so I'm gonna do that. But this show just has such a fantastic story, and it is woven masterfully. As for my favorite characters go, I would have to say Zuko. It was between Zuko and Sokka, but I'm going to give it to Zuko simply because he has one of the best character arcs I have ever seen before in my life. You know, besides Walter White and Breaking Bad, but you know what I mean. So huge props to the creators of the show. And also, I wanted to bring this up. In one of the bonus features for the season 2 collection, there's actually an interview that the creators did with M. Night Shyamalan. And remember, at this point is when it was actually announced that they're going to do a live-action Avatar movie. So this was like way before pre-production. And just by watching the interview, it looks like it's going to be a really good movie. So it's just baffling that we got such a shit show. Like how did we end up with the movie that we actually got? M. Night actually admitted that his daughter is a huge fan of it, and he would watch it with her, like the whole series together, and it's just like, how? Then how did it get screwed up so badly? Sorry, I had a vent, but you know what I mean. What went wrong? I did watch a couple of other shows, but I actually finished them in June, so I'll save them for then. And now for the best thing. You know, if I were to have to pick a best thing of May, it honestly would be working on game paralysis. That's not a lie, that is the truth. May was really when I had to figure those things out, like what the format was going to be, how I was going to structure the channel, etc. And I just kept myself busy, whether it was like filming stuff or writing stuff, etc. So huge props to all of you who have been watching ever since I relaunched this channel. You guys are the true MVP. Well, that's it for me today. Thank you guys for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribe to become part of the Wolfpack today. New videos every Monday through Thursday. You know, I'm quite proud. I've been keeping up with the schedule. I didn't know if I would be able to, but I think I can handle it now. Well, it's time for this lone wolf to roll out.